CNN. Rare demonstrations in the southwestern Syrian city of Suwayda, a predominantly Druze minority area, continued on Wednesday, 11th day, in which residents denounced the poor living conditions and demanded regime change. Protests in areas ruled by President Bashar al-Assad's regime have shown no signs of waning so far. Unusually, the security forces refrained from repressing as hundreds of people took to the streets. According to videos on social media, watchdogs and local reports, the unrest shows that discontent with Assad as he seeks to lift international isolation is still high even in parts of the country that did not directly oppose him during long civil war. According to minority rights group International, the Druze are Syria's third largest religious minority, accounting for between 3 and 4 of the country's population. While some Druze chose to take sides on both sides of the internal conflict, many avoided doing so, and many refused to join Assad's army. The protests are taking place at a particularly dynamic time and serve to underline how vulnerable and unsustainable Assad regime has become, said Charles Lister, director of the Syria program at Middle East Institute in Washington, D.C. He added for years President had relied on support or neutrality of minorities in Syria. But fact that Druze in Suwayda led protest movement now shows he is an acute threat to regime. More than a decade alone since 2011 Arab Spring uprisings devolved into a bloody civil war between his regime and rebels seeking to overthrow him. Assad has finally regained control most of the country with help his allies Russia and Iran. The UN said that more than 300,000 civilians have been killed since the start of the conflict. That is about 1.5% of Syria's pre-war population. Millions of people were also displaced. Despite efforts to hold Assad responsible for disappearances, Assad was readmitted to the Arab community in May, a move opposed by Western states and many refugees fleeing persecution under his rule. 4 months later, it can be said that planned regional re-interaction with regime has only destabilized Syria and significantly worsened living conditions of those inside country. Lister told CNN. The strongman nonetheless hopes that his readmission to Arab League will open doors to the international community and even lift crippling Western sanctions. Videos shared on social media show the protesters waving the Druze flag and chanting "Long live Syria! Down with Bashar Assad." Ryan Maroof, editor of the local Suwayda 24 news site, said in recent days the demonstrations had spread to several villages in Suwayda prefecture, attracting hundreds of people. Maroof said largest protests were concentrated around al-Assad Square in the city of Suwayda, while other minor protests were scattered throughout governorate. They're demanding regime change and freedom, he told CNN. He added that protesters also closed headquarters of ruling Ba'ath Party, which see